Did you know using your browser in incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? Take back your privacy with IPVanish VPN. Just one tap and all your data, passwords, communications, browsing history, and more will be instantly protected. IPVanish makes you virtually invisible online. Use IPVanish on all your devices, anytime you go online at home and especially on public Wi-Fi. Get IPVanish now for 70% off a yearly plan with this exclusive offer at ipvanish.com/audio.
Calaroga Shark Media.
From Cracker Barrel, where the dumplings are woke now, this is Ballot.
That's right. At least now I won't have to play that stupid peg game on the table. Let's hit this. I'm Patrick Gutfield, and Cracker Barrel unveiled their new logo and branding as part of their All the More campaign, and the internet is having what you might call a barrel of reactions, and not the good kind. The restaurant chain decided to modernize their classic yellow and brown logo, going for a sleeker, more contemporary look. Now, I've seen corporate rebrands before, but this one has customers more fired up than a wood-burning stove in December. The comments on their Instagram are absolutely brutal. One customer wrote, "I have no idea why companies feel the need to change their logo when the one they have had for decades works so well. At least leave the barrel in the logo." But my favorite response came from someone who said the new logo gives them Golden Corral vibes. Ouch. That's restaurant equivalent of saying your makeover makes you look like your less attractive cousin. Even country music star Jelly Roll weighed in, posting, "Man, this ain't it, y'all!" When Jelly Roll, a man who literally named himself after a pastry, is critiquing your food establishment's choices, you know you've struck a nerve. Over on Reddit's design forum, they're dissecting this rebrand with surgical precision. One user noted, "The barrel is hardly a barrel at all. I understand the desire for modern rebrands to scale back on the detailing, but this has just gone way too far." The logo change is part of a bigger overhaul that includes refreshed menus and remodeled restaurants with simpler interiors and less rustic charm. Their chief marketing officer, Sarah Moore, says they're honoring our legacy while bringing fresh energy, thoughtful craftsmanship, and heartfelt hospitality. Cracker Barrel built their entire identity on being the place that looks exactly like your grandmother's kitchen, complete with random antiques hanging on every wall. Now they want to go modern? That's like McDonald's deciding to serve their Big Macs on fine china or Trump actually releasing the Epstein Files. Michael Wolff, President Trump's biographer, just dropped some behind-the-scenes details about life in the Trump White House that are more revealing than a hotel room keycard malfunction. Wolff shared that Trump had a full-blown confrontation with the Secret Service over installing a lock on his bedroom door. Now, when the people whose job it is to take a bullet for you are telling you not to lock your door, maybe listen to them? But Trump insisted on the lock until the Secret Service literally removed it themselves. Wolff also revealed that Trump once had a fit when White House domestic staff changed his sheets. His sheets! I mean, most people would be thrilled to have someone else do their laundry, but Trump apparently treated fresh linens like a personal attack. What exactly was he worried about? That the thread count wasn't high enough? That they used fabric softener instead of starch? Does he keep the Epstein Files hidden under his mattress? That they would notice Melania has never slept in his bed? Trump unleashed a classic all-caps Truth Social meltdown after MSNBC suggested he's been strategically hiding his swollen ankles from public view as if they are the Epstein Files. The 79-year-old president went full keyboard warrior, writing, "MSNBC is doing so poorly in the ratings that they are looking to change their name in order to get away from the stench of their fake news product." He also called Comcast CEO Dopey Brian Roberts and said the company is hopelessly and aimlessly flailing in the wind. Nothing says I'm totally not bothered by ankle comments, like a paragraph-long rant in all capital letters. The controversy started when MSNBC's Lawrence O'Donnell pointed out that Trump did something unusual during his meeting with European leaders. He stayed seated behind the resolute desk instead of moving to the typical spot in front of the fireplace. O'Donnell suggested this was to prevent anyone from comparing Trump's ankles to those of the French president, German chancellor, or British prime minister. But Trump wasn't so lucky during his meeting with Vladimir Putin in Alaska, where both leaders were seated in chairs out in the open. O'Donnell noted that Putin's 72-year-old ankles showed none of the mileage of Trump's swollen ones. The White House seems to be playing along with this ankle-hiding strategy. They released an official photo of Trump's meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, where, and I'm not making this up, a model of Air Force One is perfectly positioned to block Trump's ankles from view. Look, if you want us to stop talking about your ankles, then release the Epstein Files to distract us.
What if everything you've been taught about happiness is wrong? We chase careers, approval, more stuff, hoping it'll finally make us feel fulfilled, but it never sticks. What if happiness isn't out there, but already inside you, just waiting to be unlocked? Discover the book, The Happiness Experiment. Every person has a unique happiness type, and when you understand yours, everything shifts. You'll stop chasing and start creating joy on your own terms. Discover your happiness type with a free happiness type assessment. Go to myhappinesstype.com. That's myhappinesstype.com. It takes just a minute and it might change your life. Then grab your copy of The Happiness Experiment at Books A Million. This isn't just a book, it's a practical framework, a journey inward. It's a tool to help you reconnect with the happiness that's been waiting inside you all along. Pick up The Happiness Experiment and start your happiness experiment today.
Did you know using your browser in incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? Take back your privacy with IPVanish VPN. Just one tap and all your data, passwords, communications, browsing history, and more will be instantly protected. IPVanish makes you virtually invisible online. Use IPVanish on all your devices, anytime you go online at home and especially on public Wi-Fi. Get IPVanish now for 70% off a yearly plan with this exclusive offer at ipvanish.com/audio.
A federal judge just shut down Florida's immigration detention center in the Everglades, nicknamed Alligator Alcatraz. What the judge should have done was shut down the podcast Alligator Alcatraz from Calaroga Shark Media. Whose idea was that? The detention center was the nation's first state-run facility for federal immigration detainees, which sounds impressive until you realize it was built in one of America's most sensitive ecosystems. The facility sits in the middle of protected Everglades land, surrounded by wetlands that serve as habitat for endangered species, including the Florida panther. The legal battle came down to a classic case of federal versus state authority. The Trump administration argued they didn't need an environmental review because while the center houses federal detainees, it's run by the state. Judge Williams wasn't buying this shell game, writing that federal immigration enforcement was the key driver of the center's construction. She even quoted the old saying, "If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and looks like a duck, then it's a duck. But Duck Alcatraz doesn't sound intimidating." Honestly, if you told me I could live out my days on an island surrounded by ducks, I might say yes. In this case, the duck was a federally funded detention center that somehow thought it could dodge federal environmental laws through creative paperwork. The judge noted that both governments offered little to no evidence why building in the Everglades was necessary, adding that in their haste to construct the detention camp, the state did not consider alternative locations. Portions of today's show were made with the help of AI and ducks. Release the Epstein Files, you coward.
Taylor Swift has a new album coming, The Life of a Showgirl, and we've got all the details. Join us every Sunday on the Taylor Swift Today podcast, your ultimate source for everything happening in Taylor's world. From her romance with Travis Kelce to career milestones, legal battles, and cultural impact, we cover it all. I'm Allie, and I'll bring you exclusive insights, breaking news, and the stories that matter to Swifties everywhere. Whether it's new music, red carpet appearances, or the latest from the Eras Tour, we're your weekly destination for Taylor Swift news. Subscribe to Taylor Swift Today wherever you get your podcasts.
From Calaroga Shark Media comes Celebrity Trials, the explosive new podcast that exposes the truth behind America's most captivating cases. I'm Reed Carter, and I'll take you inside real-live daily trials and classic celebrity cases where fame, power, and justice collide. From Jeffrey Epstein's billion-dollar sex trafficking empire to the prep school killer who walked free, from family annihilators to celebrity plea deals. Discover the shocking verdicts, twisted evidence, and cultural forces that shape American justice. These aren't just crimes. They're cultural moments that reveal who we really are. Justice isn't always swift, but it's absolutely riveting. Celebrity Trials, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Did you know using your browser in incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? Take back your privacy with IPVanish VPN. Just one tap and all your data, passwords, communications, browsing history, and more will be instantly protected. IPVanish makes you virtually invisible online. Use IPVanish on all your devices, anytime you go online at home and especially on public Wi-Fi. Get IPVanish now for 70% off a yearly plan with this exclusive offer at ipvanish.com/audio.